What's up, my fellow Michiganians, Michiganders, whatever you happen to call yourselves? Welcome to Wolverine State Sports Talk, and I'm sorry I have to do this again, but I just have to do this one more time. I promise I won't talk about the local media after this, because they've gone absolutely insane. Firstly in, Woodward Sports Today had a video titled, Aiden Hutchinson a Bust. Come on, guys. I shouldn't even have to explain that. One game. If it's after 17 games and he finishes the year with one sack, then we can have that conversation. I mean have the conversation, but 1 week, I won't even get into much into that. And it just stinks because that's one of the most consumed Detroit media sites there is out there. And the other one, 97 won the ticket, which I railed on yesterday. I got to do it again because Mike Valenti is talking down to the Lions fans that have realistic expectations. And it's getting absolutely ridiculous. And so I'm going to rebut exactly what he's going to say and exactly what he is thinking about the week one loss, which personally I don't even know if he authentically feels this way. I think that Mike is just trying to get clicks and views, but if that's the point, then what I'm saying is a moot point. But I'm going to rebut exactly what he's saying right here. So let me play the clip.
We weren't we saying they had the worst roster in the NFL by far last year?
Has nothing
How
to do
are we
with
going to be upset that the team was losing games?
It has nothing to do with this year. Stop saying that. You know who had the worst roster in football one year and won the Super Bowl the next year? The Patriots. The Rams. The Panthers went to the Super Bowl after being 5-11. Stop! Stop with your rationalizations, your excuses, what you said last year, what you told your mommy. Stop! Every year in the NFL, somebody goes worst to first. You telling me they all have the best rosters? Stop! Stop acting like losers! The hell is wrong with you people?
I think this is who they are, Mike.
Christ almighty!
That's what I said, Mike. This is Lions fan.
Do you remember when he took the job? You said they had a terrible roster. What does that have to do with now? Here?
Okay, Mr. Mike. So you're calling out the fan base right now, and I'm going to tell you this right now, you're completely wrong, and let me give you some data. Yes, they did have the worst roster in the league last year, and contrary to what you want to think, yes, that does have an impact on this year's team, whether you like it or not. So here's the data for you. Teams from 2000 to 2021. This is a 20-year collection of data, 21-year collection of data. So, in that span, there have been 47 teams that finished with 3 or fewer wins. So they finished 3-14 or worse. 47 teams. The following season, out of all those teams, you know how many of those teams the following season made the postseason? 6. 12.8%. 12.8%. You know how many of those teams won a playoff game? 2.1%. So you're telling us that we should have super high expectations for this team, but the data says otherwise. This sort of reaction is a year too early, and he knows it. He's just trying to stir up controversy and make me create content like this, I guess. I have no idea. But your expectations are too high, Mike. So you're mad that this team is not doing what 88% of 3 or more lost teams do. And then he goes on to compare us to the Bengals a couple of years ago. First of all, let's take a look at that Bengals team. They hit rock bottom. They went 2-14, I think, in 2019. Yes, 2019. The following season, they went 5-11, but they pick up Joe Burrow. And then the following season, they make the Super Bowl, which I think was kind of a fluke anyway, but still massive improvement. Then that's it. So really, the Bengals had 3 years to turn it around. And you're giving this team 2 years to turn it around. So you're wrong there. And that's just it. You're making an inaccurate comparison, comparing 5-11 teams to the Lions last year. Because the Lions really were not even close to that, talent-wise, to any of these teams. And I hate to say it, they did get some talent in the draft, but nobody in this draft was good enough, at least from a quarterback standpoint, to take this team over the edge. And he knew that. So this is a complete overreaction meant to stir up views, and it's making me absolutely insane. 2% of 3 or fewer win teams, 2% of those teams actually win a postseason game. Only the 2005 Saints did it over the past 21 years. So, no, Mike, we're not losers. And You know, you can go cry to your mommy about not getting the Fruit Loops at the grocery store. Your mom doesn't have the money yet. That's the comparison I'm going to make. The Lions are saving up the money so that they can buy Fruit Loops without any problems. There's a reason they didn't splurge in free agency. There's a reason they have 2 first-round draft picks this year. Because they're punting for the future, for the long-term future. You can't go into midseason saying about how bad this roster is and how much they have to overturn, and then all of a sudden turn around and say, oh, you should be beating one of the best teams in the NFC. I mean, talent-wise, the Eagles are one of the best teams in the NFC. I mean, Packers, let's see, the Rams, obviously. Then it might just be the Eagles, just being realistic. And then the Buccaneers, I forgot about them. But a team that should be hosting a playoff game. And then he's going to go on later to say, oh my gosh, but the Texans tied, the Bears won. Ugh. Well, here's the thing. Yes, they won a game, but you're talking about anomalies. And how are those teams going to fare the rest of the season? That's just it. It's week 1 out of 17 games. So that's a complete overreaction. That's like the guy saying, oh my gosh, but his mom brought Fruit Loops at the store, so did his mom. Well, yeah, but their mom is going to be broke after that. All 3 of those teams gave everything they had for those games, and you know what? They're going to fan out the rest of the season. The Texans are going to be absolutely terrible. Rodrigo Blankenship is not going to miss kicks. That's just it. All 3 of those teams also got extremely fluky. You know, they didn't make the kickers miss the field goals. They just missed. And the Steelers beating the Bengals, too. Yeah, that was an upset. Steelers blocked an extra point. And the Steelers, even this year's Steelers team, is still slightly better than this Lions team. Maybe not much, and maybe the Lions are a little bit better, but still. The fact is, you're going off in 1 week, throwing Dan Campbell to the flames for not doing something that's statistically almost impossible. It's getting ridiculous, and we're not losers for having realistic expectations this year. Now, next season, I expect a lot more. And if we lose a game like this next year, yeah, I'm going to be upset. Even then, I'm going to understand it's week 1. But I'm not going to be like, oh, we showed some signs of progress. If this season's about development, you can't get mad or react like this to a game against a superior team. It's getting ridiculous. Man. That's all I have to say. 2% chance to win a playoff game this year. And these guys expect us to win the Super Bowl. Ridiculous. But here's the fact. So what should the realistic expectations be for this Lions team? Well, here's the data again. So the average team that won 3 or fewer games the next season, they had a 4-game improvement from the previous year to the next year. So that means if the Lions have a 4-game improvement, they'll win 7 games, which I projected them to win 8 games because of the easy schedule and because they are a better team than last year. So the Lions are still on schedule in my book. If they lose to the Commanders and they lose to the Bears and Jets and they go 4-13, yeah, then I'm going to be livid. But this is way too early to be reacting like this. It's absolutely ridiculous. And at the end of the season, if the team falls short, yes, then it's time to get upset. But yeah, Mike just sounds like a salty 6-year-old that's upset his mom can't afford Fruit Loops. That's it. All right. Thank you all for watching. Y'all have a good rest of your day. And go Lions. Take care.